distinguished speakers, and dear guests. It's our privilege and pleasure on behalf of TED Atakent College to welcome you all here today. That many of you have traveled long distances to be here serves as a reminder to how important our work is. This 11th TED ELT conference is the first international one in collaboration with ITFL, which we are honored to be hosting.
As senior students at the school, we volunteered to take part in the organization of this conference, since we will be organizing the first MEN conference and national forum at our school next year. Being part of this conference has provided us priceless experience. We would like to thank you for giving us this opportunity.
The quality of English education at TED has introduced us to the world, as well as introducing the world to us. As you'll see from the part of the decoration that remind from the recent reading day of grade 1 students.
While becoming a global citizen, we also value local culture. And this is how our grade 2 students would like to welcome you now.
like to invite our founder principal Naime Demirbaş for her opening remarks.
Değerli konuklar, bu güzel hafta sonunu, bahar hafta sonunu ayırıp eğitim için bir araya gelmek biz öğretmenler için herhalde en güzel şey. Önce lütfen kendinizi bir alkışlayın. Günümüzde ekonomik ve teknolojik gelişmeler sonucunda İngilizce neredeyse tüm ülkelerde kullanılan dünya dili haline gelmiştir. Küreselleşmenin gereği olarak çağı yakalamak, çağdaş olabilmek ve çağdaş kalabilmek, diğer ülkelerle teknolojik, ekonomik ve kültürel alanlarda iletişim sağlayabilmek önemlidir. Bu sebeple İngilizce öğretiminin donanımlı ve mesleki gelişime değer veren öğretmenlerce yürütülmesi gereklidir.
Today, as a result of economic and technological developments, English has become the world language used in almost all countries. As a necessity of globalization, English education should be carried out by teachers who value the equipped and professional development in order to be able to catch up with the contemporary age, to be contemporary and communicate with other countries in technological, economical and cultural fields.
Türk Eğitim Derneği yabancı dilde okullar açma misyonu gereğince TED okullarında başta İngilizce eğitimi olmak üzere yabancı dilde eğitime çok önem veren bir kurumdur. Gerek kendi bünyesinde çalışan öğretmenlerine, gerekse diğer kurumlarda çalışan yabancı dil öğretmenlerine mesleki eğitim alanlarında fırsatlar yaratmaktadır.
In accordance with its mission of opening schools providing education in foreign languages, the Turkish Education Association attaches great importance to foreign language education, particularly in the English language education, in TED schools, and creates opportunities for foreign languages teachers working in their own institutions and in different institutions.
Evet, oraya bir alkış istiyorum. Evet, bugün burada İngilizce öğretmenlerini ağırlamaktan ve mesleki donanımlarınıza katkı vermekten, birlikte olmaktan dolayı hepinize sevgi ve saygılarımı sunuyorum. Bol eğitime, çocuklara yansıyacak çalışmalarda da kolaylıklar diliyorum. Tekrar hoş geldiniz.
Today, we are proud to welcome you to our English teachers and wish you all professional conference.
Now, we would like to invite TED Foreign Languages Coordinator Beril Yücel to the stage. We owe a big thanks to Ms. Yücel for making this conference possible.
Hello, dear colleagues. We are very much delighted to welcome you all to TED and IATEFL Young Learners and Teenagers Special Interest Group Joint ELT Conference entitled The Gift of Creativity. Today, creativity is one of the key words used in education very often, and it is sought for in the teaching of every skill, and no one can think about English language teaching without creativity, both in the classroom and outside the classroom. Every student and every teacher has the potential to be creative. The issue is how we bring it out. Creativity is inventing. Creativity is thinking critically. It is experimenting. It is growing. Taking risks. Going beyond your limits. Enjoying what you are doing. Producing. Being curious. Thinking and acting globally. And having a growth mindset. As you all know, as TED schools, we attach great importance to creativity in our schools through different various programs, clubs, and professional development activities. And I would like to share a couple of examples with you that we have had so far during this term in our schools, and these activities all aimed to foster creativity in our students. So I'm going to share some of them with you, and I think we should all feel proud of being involved in such activities. All right, one example is our Global Citizenship Club that we started this year in 9 of our schools. And we had a wonderful, very successful event in March in Izmir, and all our students came together, did presentations. They were great, and it was a very, very proud event for all of us. At the same time, again in March, we came together with our second foreign language teachers, and we again discussed the gift of creativity. So they all had the chance to come together and share their experiences, practices, talking about creativity in their classrooms. So all our German teachers, French teachers, Spanish and Russian teachers had the chance to have the platform to exchange all their practices, ideas together. And it was a, again, great successful event for all of us. And, all right. And this year, as you know, Turkish Education Association Journal, the Komitet, the topic of this issue is the 4th Industrial Revolution. And here we have a wonderful creative poem by one of our 8th graders. So you can take a few minutes to have a look at the poem. Isn't it lovely? Creative. So, in the light of all these, we believe that this conference will provide us with the opportunity of discussing creativity further in depth in our own practices and exchanging ideas with each other. Highlights of the program include plenary sessions by our guest speakers, workshops and paper presentations by trainers and teachers. We would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to our General Director, Sevinç Atabay, for her ongoing support and encouragement in this conference. We are grateful to TED Atakent School Administration, our principals Naime Demirbaş, Faruk Ortaç and Verda Yaşar, for providing us the venue with its all facilities. Special thanks are, of course, due to my dear colleague Fatma Ataman and all the foreign languages department teachers and students at TED Atakent College. We can never thank them enough for their effort, hard work, and meticulous organization. Our 11th conference being organized with IATEFL YLTC is a very exciting development, as it means that our conference is an international event run in partnership with one of the largest teacher associations in the world. Therefore, I would like to thank IATEFL, especially IATEFL YLTC, and its coordinator David Walland for their collaboration. And I would like to welcome Sinem Döridere. Sinem, would you like to just introduce yourself? YLTC Online Events Coordinator. So she will be with us all throughout the conference, and you will have the chance to get more information about IATEFL from her. And it is a very recent announcement. I got this news last night, actually, and our joint conference was awarded a very prestigious, we were awarded with a prestigious award, yes. And we got EVE 2019 TED and IATEFL ELT Conference Award. That is given by Equal Voices in ELT. And this award has been given for gender balance in the plenary speakers in our conference. So we are very pleased and we are very honored to have this. Okay, we also have a surprise for you. At the end of the conference, there will be a raffle, and there will be one lucky school which will get an free institutional IATEFL membership. Only one. Okay, and the winner will be announced in the closing. Okay, and Sinem will submit the award. Okay. All right. I would like to go on by thanking our plenary speakers. We are really grateful to them and we would like to thank them for being here with us. Sandy Morau from Nova University, Lisbon, and Chris Rowland, ELI, Seville. Yes. And we would like to thank all our presenters for their invaluable contributions to the conference. Of course, my heartfelt thanks go to my dearest colleagues at TED Headquarters Foreign Languages Directorate, Zeynep, Jason, Sabila, Dirayet Hoca, and Serdar. And İktisadi İşletme, Levent Çeltik, Erkut Diler, and Alev Ateş. It is the vision and dedication of all these people which make this event possible. And we would like to extend our thanks to our sponsors as well for their generous support in this conference. In alphabetical order, Cambridge University Press, Dünya Education, Farbe Education Mayon, Dole Testing, Globet, Inkash, Colibri Digital, Magenta, Macmillan Educational, National Geographic Learning, Nuance Publishing, Oxford University Press, Pearson, and Unlimited Educational Services. And Sardunya, the catering service. Last but not least, we thank you all for being here and sharing the excitement of this wonderful event all together with us. Einstein says, creativity is contagious, pass it on. So we hope you will return home enriched and with full of motivation to pass this creativity to your students and to your colleagues. And here, hidden in this gift box, we express our sincere hope that this conference will be an engaging and enlightening experience for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your speech, Mr. Jack.
ITFL YLT Special Interest Group Online Events Coordinator Sinem Dırdere has traveled from Izmir. Ms. Dırdere is representing ITFL, and without your support, this conference couldn't have been possible. We would like to invite Ms. Dırdere to the stage for her opening remarks.
Good morning, good everyone, or good evening, or good afternoon to those of you who are joining us via live stream. I'm Sinem Dırdere, Digital Coordinator for the Young Learners and Teenagers Special Interest Group of the International Association of Teachers of English as a Foreign Language, or more commonly known as IEEE-YLT-SIG. On behalf of the YLT-SIG coordinator David Valent and all of the YLT-SIG committee members, I'd like to start by saying how delighted we are to be partnering with TED Atakent College to bring you this fantastic conference focused on the gift of creativity, which is one YLT-SIG's as well as my own personal favorite areas of YL-ELT. IEEE-YLT-SIG would also like to particularly thank Beril Yücel and Jason Price, as well as the rest of TED Atakent team, for all their excellent work in organizing this conference and really making it happen. We are very grateful. IEEE is a thriving international community of ELT professionals with over 4,000 members in more than 130 countries throughout the world. In order to carry out our mission, we have a large network of over 150 volunteers, which includes 8 trustees, 5 executive committees, working parties, and the committee for each of the 16 special interest groups, including YLT-SIG. Our goal is to provide high-quality support to English language teachers and other ELT professionals who are our members in the form of professional development. We offer a platform where they can offer their views, exchange research and teaching experiences, and learn from each other. IEEE achieves its mission to link, develop, and support English language teaching professionals worldwide through providing our members with our monthly news e-bulletin, regular publications, including 6 issues of our magazine, IEEE Voices, our annual conference selections publications, and if YLT is your chosen special interest group, our bumper 80+ pages, twice yearly digital journal, TEYLT Worldwide. IEEE members can also access reduced rates on a number of subscriptions to professional ELT journals. IEEE also has an annual international conference and exhibition with an extensive program of talks and workshops, which attracts over 2,500 delegates. In addition to meeting the professional development needs of its members, IEEE helps to serve the needs of the wider ELT community through an online live streaming of our annual conference open to all. This attracts annually an audience over 60,000 people worldwide. ITEFL strongly believes that all ELT professionals should be respected and that everyone has the right to access professional development. We aim to be an inclusive association which welcomes diversity and debate. Our aim, therefore, is to provide forums where educators from anywhere in the world can come together to learn from each other and to offer mutual professional support. We also achieve this aim by offering scholarships and discounts for a range of professional development opportunities, and you can find out more about these by visiting our website www.itefl.org. I'd also like to particularly highlight the free ITEFL monthly webinars and annual web conference, which are available for members and non-members alike, so you can all get involved today. If you haven't already, I'd also encourage you to follow ITEFL on social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so you don't miss out any of the top quality ELT action. When you join ITEFL, you have one special interest group included in your membership. So, why join? Why young learners and teenagers SIG? YLT SIG has developed over the past 30 years to redress the general adult default focus in English language teaching. Our position is that children and teenagers have varying sets of needs, rights, and age-related differences which really need to be prioritized in YLELT. YLT SIG's mission is therefore to lead, help drive change, and enhance standards in teaching English to young learners and teenagers for training and development, classroom practice, and assessment. YLT SIG members include classroom practitioners, like many of you here at this conference, and also YL teacher trainers, researchers, academic managers, and materials content developers worldwide. We use the International Standard Classification of Education mapping criteria to provide common terminology for clarity, consistency, and knowledge sharing among our members. This includes a focus on these ranges: early years, which includes 2 to 5-year-olds, primary, which includes 6 to 10-year-olds, lower secondary, which includes 11 to 14-year-olds, upper secondary, which includes 15 to 17-year-olds. So as you can see, no matter which age range of young learners you or your teachers or schools work with, we cater for ELT with all YL age ranges. We provide YLT SIG members with a number of benefits, including face-to-face or virtual TEYL professional development opportunities, networking possibilities with YLELT professionals to share best global practices, action research, and innovative ideas, specialist advice on all aspects of TEYL, including child protection, classroom practice, assessment, materials, and teacher training. We encourage our members to get actively involved in the SIG by being a speaker at our events, such as this conference with TED Atakent here, as well as our showcase at the annual ITEFL conference in the UK. The plenary speakers at this conference in Istanbul were also speakers in the YLT SIG showcase at the ITEFL Liverpool conference earlier this month. It's really great to see Sandy Morao and Chris Rowland again speaking under the SIG and TED Atakent umbrella. I'm sure you're looking forward to their plenaries and workshops as much as us on the YLT SIG committee. Here, you can see the main ITEFL channels and websites, as well as the YLT SIG website and social media channels. Don't miss out. Follow us today. You can take out your phones and join the YLT SIG Facebook group and like our face. You can take a picture. I'd like now share some important dates for your diary. As I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, I'm the digital coordinator for YLT SIG. A large part of my role involves organizing YLT SIG's annual web conference. I'm proud to announce that our web conference will be held on the 25th, 26th, and 27th of October. We will be providing a variety of formats, including short talks, joint talks, Q&A sessions, panels, moderated discussions, and many more. Keep an eye on our social media channels for the call for speakers and the theme of the 2019 YLT SIG Web Conference. It's going to be huge. The final date I'd like to share is our pre-conference event in the UK at the ITEFL Manchester Conference on Thursday, 17 April 2020. This is a full year away, we know, but we're very excited about the theme and wanted to tell you the news. Our 2020 PC theme is Sharing Languages, Celebrating Children's and Teenagers' Multilingualism in ELT. So, if you're interested in this hot YL-ELT topic, please consider registering for 2020 PCE soon. Without any further ado, on behalf of YLT SIG committee, we would like to wish you all lots of fresh, creative teaching ideas and special YL-ELT gifts. Thank you all again, and especially to Beril and TED Atakent team for collaborating with ITEFL YLT SIG. Have a great conference. Thank you.
We would like to thank Ms. Dardere for her speech.
Just a few reminders before we leave the floor to Dr. Sandy Morao. During these 1.5 days, TED team will be taking pictures to be shared with you tomorrow at the closing. This is how you recognize them.
Our TED team is also responsible in handling any case of emergency. Please follow their directions to evacuate the building. School nurse is also available throughout the conference. She is on floor B3 and the TED team will be accompanying you if need be.
We will choose the best photo of the conference and share with you tomorrow at the closing. Please take pictures during the conference and share them with the hashtag on your social media accounts to reflect the theme of the conference.
Conference dinner on the boat, enjoying the beauty of Bosphorus, will depart from Bebek Aşiyan. Departing point was originally announced as Kabataş, but considering the traffic on the sea and the ease of boarding, it has been changed to Bebek Aşiyan. The buses for the conference dinner on the boat will leave around 5:30 in the front yard and will pick you up around 11 p.m. at Bebek Aşiyan to take you back to the hotel.
For those who are not coming to boat trip, there will be also buses to Zeytinburnu and to the hotel at 5:30. After the concurrent session, lunch will be served in the cafeteria and the group photo will be taken at 1:45 in the front yard.
Concurrent sessions will be held on B1, just one floor down, and the publisher's stands are also located there.
Now it's time to start with the first keynote presenter. Dr. Sandy Morao is a teacher educator, author, and educational consultant specializing in early foreign language education and the use of picture books in all areas of language education. At present, she is a researcher at Nova University Lisbon, where she is investigating intercultural citizenship education through picture books in English. Sandy has written several textbooks, edited academic volumes, and is a regular contributor to edited collections, journals, and magazines related to ELT and children's literature. She is co-editor of the CLELE Journal, an open access online journal, which supports the integration of children's literature and language learning.
Please join us welcoming Dr. Sandy Morao for her talk titled The Power of Picture Books, ELT.
I wonder, are the lights off? Can I have the lights off the stage like we agreed? Please? If someone can... Possible? Thanks. Welcome to the first plenary, and I have written here something that I need to say. Gun Eden. I can also say bom dia, because I live and work in Portugal. Good morning. It's lovely to see you. Most of you have been here since 9 o'clock this morning, haven't you? Yeah. It's a real pleasure to be part of this conference and to be so nicely looked after and beautifully introduced by the students. It's lovely. And it's also a pleasure to be able to speak about picture books, which is one of my passions. So, the title of my session is The Power of Picture Books, and my one intention is for you to leave this plenary with a completely different view of what a picture book is. So I hope that you will reconsider the picture book. So this is what we are going to be doing during the next hour. We're just going to have a little think about picture books. I'm going to show you 3 picture books, and I've chosen them particularly because they all share a particular message, an important message, which we can use with our students. And then hopefully have a little reflection on rethinking about what a picture book is, and hopefully recognizing the power that they can bring us in the classroom. So, a question. What is a picture book? Turn to the person sitting next to you. If you haven't said hello yet, say hello first. And then, what is a picture book? Think of a couple of words, a definition. When you hear my bell, I'll ask you to stop. So, who would like to throw out a couple of words, or a possible definition, or a thought about what a picture book is? You've got one here, okay. So what makes it a picture book?
There is a writer and there is an illustrator, and they have equal points on a picture book because the text, the story, and the illustrations, they tell different stories.
So I'm going to stop you there. No, it's lovely. So I'm not sure everyone heard. So there is an author who writes the words and an illustrator who draws the pictures, and they're both extremely important in providing the message. Thank you. I could probably leave the stage now because you've said it all. So a picture book has pictures and words, yes, and they are of equal value. In fact, often it is the illustrations that are more important in a picture book. Anyone else have anything they want to say about picture books? That was a very nice, yes.
The visual display of the sentences, the hidden messages, so we can display through the images.
So the images will provide us information that we need to read. Is yes?
Display is what we see and understand issues.
Okay, so the images might show us what the words are saying. Okay, yes. So they might make it easier for children to understand, or learners generally.
A picture book is a book which, when you read, your kid wants you in her or his bed because he or she wants to see the pictures while you're reading it.
Okay, so a picture book is often read by a parent to their child before they go to bed. Yes, and that's a really important activity actually to develop all sorts of literacy skills and also that effective bond with parents. So are you saying that picture books are for smaller children? No? Okay, good, I'm glad about that.
There are less words in picture books.
There are fewer words in picture books. In fact, in this conference there are 2 sessions that are talking about wordless picture books. So there are just pictures in these books, yes. Okay, so I have a very knowledgeable audience about picture books, which is lovely to see. Let me just, oh, thank you. I'm going to take some of those ideas, and I thought that I would start with what a picture book wasn't, just to make sure that we were all on the same page. So a picture book is not an illustrated book, precisely because the words and the pictures come together to provide the information. In an illustrated book, the words are more important because the illustrations are fewer. It isn't a decorative book because, once again, the words are more important. The decorations are by the by. And it certainly isn't a piece of learner literature or a graded reader, because in a graded reader, the objective is to teach the learner to read, or to provide an opportunity for them to read words. And so the language will be graded, it will be changed. And in a picture book, that's not the case. A picture book is completely authentic. It's authentic in the words that appear on the page, but it's also authentic in the illustrations that appear on the page. They have been created by very talented illustrators. So just as our very knowledgeable participants have said, the pictures and the words are compound in creating meaning. They create a whole which is more than the sum of the 2 parts. So the words and the pictures come together to create 3, not 2. Yeah? A picture book, a very good picture book, will be a 1 + 1 = 3 object. And the pictures show and the words tell. And they do that in different ways, because they can't do it in the same way, because they are different modes of communication. And so when they come together, there is an interdependence that helps us, or that often actually means that we need to think about what the words are saying, if they exist, and what the illustrations are showing. In my research, because I've researched picture books, I've come up with a continuum of picture-word dynamic to try and help teachers understand the relevance of how pictures and words do different things. And if a picture book is at the simple end of the picture-word dynamic, it will, the pictures and the words will show and tell the same information. Just as the lady in the audience said, that the pictures help us understand the words. Yeah? And many of you will be familiar with these picture books. Then there are picture books at the complex end of the picture-word dynamic, where the words do not always, or the words are not always the same as what the pictures show. And there's often a gap. There's often something missing. And as readers, we need to read the words and the pictures and work out how they are coming together. And I can see I'm losing you already. You're not quite sure what I'm talking about. So, many of you will be familiar with these picture books. Yes? Can I just have a show of hands of those of you who are familiar with these picture books? Lovely. Okay. So these are picture books which are generally at the simple end of the picture word dynamic. And this is why you are familiar with them, because they are very supportive of our early language learners, because the pictures support what the words say. They do very little else. They're often selected for preschool and primary English language teaching. The illustrations are said to synchronize. They show what the words are telling. They're often pleasing and nice. They contain predictable language which the children will pick up in chunks, and that's what we want them to do. So they are really supportive. They're very important. They are often concept books because they talk about things like colours, numbers, clothes, and they provide a secure, supportive context for language learning. So they are really good. I'm not going to talk about these books. You know about them. What I'm going to talk about are books at the... No, I'm going to give one example first, sorry. I'm going to show you a book called Bully. And I'm going to show you Bully because it actually doesn't fit in that particular model. It's not a picture book at the simple end of the picture word dynamic. It's a book by an American author illustrator, so she does both the pictures and the words. And, well, with a title like that, what do you think it's about? Bullying, absolutely. So, I'm going to share the picture bit with you. In fact, this is what it looks like. The real book. And I want you to think about, you're going to be multitaskers as I share the book. What age group would you use it with? Primary. You haven't heard it yet. And is there anything cognitively or culturally complex that you would need to worry about as you were preparing it to share with your children or your learners? Okay, you ready? Okay. Bully by Laura Vaquero-Seeger. Go away! Bully by Laura Vaquero-Seeger. Wanna play? No. Chicken. Slow poke. Slow poke is like saying that someone is very slow, but it's a mean way of saying it. Pig. Buzz off. You stink. Bully. Butt out. Bully. Bully? Sorry. Wanna play? What do you think they're gonna say? Okay. Oh. And that's the end of the story. So, I asked you two questions. I asked you what age group would you use this with, and I asked you if there was anything cognitively or culturally complex about this picture book. Can you turn to the person you were talking to and have a little chat? When you hear my bell, I would like you to stop. Okay? Thank you. Okay, so what age group would you use it with? Preschool, okay. 4, 5, 6? Yes. 3-year-olds?
4, 5. All ages.
Thank you. Thank you, yes. Yes, I mean, it could be used in preschool, but it could also be used with your lower and upper primary and even your older learners, absolutely. So, thank you for that one. Anything cognitively or culturally complex?
They're all idioms. All of the words that they use are idioms, like buzz off is the noise that a bee makes, but it also means go away. You stink, skunk stinks, but it also means you're a loser. So this might be difficult for you.
Yes, thank you. They're actually quite culturally demanding. You know, a word like pig, we know means the animal pig, but the children might not know it as an insult. Yes? And you stink, again, you know, that term there, it is derogatory. So the way these very simple words are being used is actually a little bit more complex than it appears. Okay? So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the possible activities that we could do, some of the ways that we could use this picture book with younger children. So maybe your pre-primary or early primary. These ideas come from colleagues that I'm working with on a Facebook page called ELT21. It's on the handout, which you have got online, I think. I was told it's online, okay? So these ideas come from Aneta Sadowska, who lives and works in Poland, and she works with children from the ages of 6 to 12 in Poland, in state schools in Poland. So she was very concerned about using this picture book with her younger learners, those 6-year-olds, precisely for those reasons that were very nicely explained there. And so she thought that she would start first with body language. How do we show how we feel using our body, using our face, using our body? So with the children, they did lots of role-play activities related to feelings and the body. And then she looked, after she'd shared the story with the children, and helped them see that those words were hurting the other animals. And that's very evident in the illustrations, isn't it? That the illustrations are excellent, and the way the bull gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. She then, helped the children see that there is a difference between using these animal words as nouns and using these animal words and other words as insults. And they made a collection of kind words in comparison to the nasty words which were in the book. So these are the things that the children came up with. So the kind words were things like, stay a while. I like your, in this case it was the shell, because the slowpoke was the tortoise. Let's play instead of buzz off. You're pretty instead of you stink. And let's be friends instead of butt out. So the children came up with these kind words together with Aneta. And then she did a little activity with them which uses an apple. Well, 2 apples actually. So I have got 2 apples here. And they are pretty much the same, wouldn't you say? Yes? Yeah? They're both a little bit red and a little bit green. One is slightly smaller than the other and it has a longer stalk, but other than that, I mean, they're pretty much the same. Well, I prefer this one. Yeah, but I prefer it. Oh, I definitely prefer it. So people on this side of the room, you're going to say nice words to this apple, because I like it better. Okay? So this apple, no, I don't really like it. People on this side of the room, you're going to say the nasty words to this apple. Okay? So you've got your list of nasty words, and you've got your list of nice words. Now, I can't do this with you because I'm on the stage and you're down there, but Aneta gave the apples to the children, and they passed them around, and they said the words to, so you're just going to say it as a group to this apple here, because I like this apple. Can you just say those words nicely to the apple from the top to the bottom? Yeah, I think the apple probably like that. Okay. Now saying nasty words isn't very nice, is it? But anyway, we've got to do it because we don't like this apple. But I thought maybe we could whisper them, because saying nasty words loudly is not very nice. Okay? So, off you go. I'm sure you can imagine that the children also thought, what are we doing? Oh, they didn't like it much either. But what Annetta then did was she peeled the apples and she showed them that underneath the skin of the apple that we were nice to. Sorry, I'll clear it up afterwards. Okay, so this apple is nice and rosy. Well, it's not rosy, it's edible, right? We were nasty to this apple. I hope it works. Yes. Can you see? It's brown. That's how awful you've been. Look at that. You really hurt that apple. So, look at the difference. Words hurt. Yes, exactly. Words hurt. This is a really good way to show children that what they say it might not be visible, but underneath it can be really hurtful. And it worked really well with Anetta's children who were 6 or 7. And I think it probably worked quite well with you as well. So, with slightly older children, my other colleague is Gail Ellis, who you might know anyway. She's famous for her work with picture books. She tried a rhyme with her children in France, in Paris. She works in a language school in Paris. And I don't know if you know any rhymes that you might associate it with bullying. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Do you know that? Is anyone familiar with that one? It's very much part of our English culture, and a rhyme that we say in school, which again is supposed to help us stand up to bullies. So Gail introduced this book by first showing the children the rhyme and getting them to talk. Because, of course, older children have more language to be able to talk about these issues. The younger children won't have that much language to be able to talk about these issues. So, why do people use words as insults? And what do we call people who use these words? So that brought up the topic of bullying. Now, she shared the book with the children, and I don't know if you noticed, but at the beginning of the book, you saw this image here, go away. Yes? And this is actually before the official start of the book. It's part of what I call the peritext. But the children went back to this and they realized or commented on the fact that often bullies are bullied at home or by other people who are bigger than them. And so they learn to bully from others. So this was something that the children talked about quite a lot, which was very important. Okay, another activity she did, which I thought I'd share with you, was a 40-second book trailer. The idea that in 40 seconds, how can we share the essence of this picture book? And she challenged the children, what images would you use from the book? And what music might you use to make this book trailer? I'm going to ask you to think about that. I'll give you 3 or 4 minutes, you're very quick, to think about which of those images do you think would look well in a book trailer? And then we will look at the book trailer and we'll compare them. Ready? 3 minutes. Oops, sorry, off you go. 3 minutes to think about what you might put in a book trailer. nice ideas. So I thought that we'd look at the trailer and see if your ideas are reflected in the trailer. Okay, so any of your ideas were in the trailer? I heard a couple of interesting ideas for music. Would you like to share your idea? Eye of the Tiger. Anyone else have any interesting ideas for music that they would play? Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Anyone have an idea of having children saying the stories? No? Anyway, so it's nice the children would then compare. Of course, they would have much longer than 3 minutes. And they would reflect on the message. Like, could you understand what the children were saying at the end? Be friends, not bullies. So that's a really important message as well. Yeah. I don't know if you know, but Anti-Bullying Week is in November every year, and this is when we featured this book on our Facebook page. For a whole month, we talked about books to do with bullying. So if you want to look at that, then you'll find that interesting, I hope. And Anti-Bullying Day is on the 4th of May. It's next week. Is it next week or the week after? The week after, isn't it? And there's websites that you can go to find out information about this, to use with your children in school. So just some thoughts and ideas of how you might be able to use bullying in the classroom. So I hope I've also shown you that it's not just a book for pre-primary children, but it's definitely something you can use with your upper primary and maybe even 12, 13, 14-year-olds. Yeah. Okay, the next book I'm going to be sharing with you is by Anthony Brown. It's called Piggy Book. It's another example of a book which is not at the simple end of the picture-word dynamic. So I've shown you, I hope that you thought that bully was also not at the simple end of the picture-word dynamic, because the illustrations did much more than imitate the words, right? Yeah. Anyone familiar with this book? Really? Put your hand up. You are, Chris. Okay, well, it's fantastic to share a book that nobody knows about. So, as I share this picture book, I would like you to think about what age group it would be for. And if you say pre-primary, I will shoot you. Okay? And then, how many pig-related words and images can you hear? Or see? Okay? So, yeah. The book. So, it's called Piggy Book. Anybody sort of, do you know what this lady is doing? She's giving her family a piggy back. Okay, yeah. All right. I'd like you to make some predictions then about this book, and I'd like you to write them down. That's really important. When you ask children with a book like this to make predictions, they should write them down because they can then return to them and it's more meaningful. So, make some predictions. What is this picture book going to be about? It's called Piggy Book. We've seen that Mummy is giving her husband and children a piggyback. Write it down. Ready? Yeah? Does anybody want to share their prediction? Right, it's going to be about a mother taking care of her family. Okay, good prediction.
I think it's about responsibilities, helping.
Okay, it's about responsibilities in the home. Okay. Okay, so she does everything she can to make her family happy, but she's not appreciated. One more. Right, so it's about a mother who has the weight of her family on her shoulders. Okay, let's see if you're...
No family.
No mom, no family.
No family.
Maybe it's about the strength of the woman. Okay. Yes, no, now I understand. No mom, no family. Okay, now I got it. Okay, let's see if you're right. I'm going to have to read it from the book. Okay. So, Pig Book by Anthony Brown. Mr. Pigott lived with his two sons, Simon and Patrick, in a nice house with a nice garden and a nice car in the nice garage. Inside the house was his wife. Hurry up with breakfast, dear, he called every morning before he went off for his very important job. Hurry up with breakfast, Mum, Simon and Patrick called before they went off for their very important school. After they left the house, Mrs. Pigott washed all the breakfast things, made all the beds, vacuumed all the carpets, and then she went to work. Hurry up with the meal, Mum, the boys called every evening when they came home from their very important school. Hurry up with the meal, old girl, Mr. Pigott called every evening when he came home from his very important job. As soon as they had eaten, Mrs. Pigott washed the dishes, washed the clothes, did the ironing, and then she cooked some more. Have you been seeing any piggy references? There's a little piggy man there, there's a little piggy bank there, isn't there? They're beginning, so keep watching because you'll find lots. One evening when the boys got home from school, there was no one to greet them. "Where's Mum?" demanded Mr. Pigott when he got home from work. She was nowhere to be found. On the mantelpiece was an envelope. Mr. Pigott opened it. Inside was a piece of paper. "What shall we do?" said Mr. Pigott. They had to make their own meal. It took hours, and it was horrible. Next morning, they had to make their own breakfast. It took hours, and it was horrible. The next day and the next night, the next day and the next night and the day after, Mrs. Pigott was still not there. Mr. Pigott, Simon and Patrick tried to look after themselves. They never washed the dishes. They never washed their clothes. Soon the house was like a pigsty. "When is Mum coming home?" the boys squealed after another horrible meal. "How should I know?" said Mr. Pigott. Mr. Pigott grunted. They all became more and more grumpy. One night, there was nothing in the house for them to cook. "We'll just have to root around and find some scraps," snorted Mr. Pigott. And just then, Mrs. Pigott walked in. Please come back, they snuffled. So Mrs. Pigott stayed. Mr. Pigott washed the dishes. Patrick and Simon made the beds. Mr. Pigott did the ironing. And they all helped with the cooking. They actually enjoyed it. Mum was happy too. She mended the car. Oh. So, were your predictions correct? Okay. So, what age group then would you use this? Exactly, yes. Exactly, at all ages. We put this back on again, it's falling off. Okay, yes, all ages. Although, I think your children in pre-primary would have to be extremely advanced to get it, so you might not use it with your pre-primary children. But, you know, this is definitely a book for older learners. Yeah. How many pig-related words or images did you hear? Have a little think. Did you? Snuffle, yeah, grunt. There's some really nice ones, yeah. So you can. And one of the things that I haven't mentioned yet is the relevance of repeatedly looking at the picture books together with the children. And in fact, you should have a class set when you're in primary in particular, so that the children can have a picture book between 3 or 4 children, so they can look at it carefully and see the illustrations and read the words themselves and make the connections, so that they can look through it, and you'll find there are lots of really nice illustrations with... Sorry? There was a wolf, exactly there was. So you're making that intertextual connection between the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, nice. Okay, so I would say that this is probably for 12 to 16-year-olds, and these are the words that you heard. You would have to see the picture book closely to see all the illustrations, but those are the words that you heard. Okay. So what about predictions? I asked you about that. Now, with your children, because they've written it down, they've got it, so they can say, I would never have thought da-da-da-da. I didn't think that da-da-da-da would happen, yes? So you're introducing all this nice language to deal with predictions and then, expectations and things like that. So that's a really important part of the sharing as well. Okay. Now, I'm wondering, you would use this with all age groups, but how would you? Would you just share the story, or would you create a set of activities around the topic of male chauvinism? In Portugal, some teachers have done the following. So during English, they used it across the curriculum, okay? So in English, they would look at the author, illustrator, and write a short biography. They would also devise a survey in English to ask friends about who does household chores in the home. And then they would need to translate it into Portuguese to take it into the home and ask family members at home, okay? They could design a family tree in arts and crafts. They could statistically analyse the results of the household chores survey in maths. Of course, citizenship education, when this was designed, it was something that did go across the curriculum. It's now a special subject in Portugal, so they would look at this in their citizenship education program. I don't know what it's like here in Turkey. Do you have a special subject for citizenship? You do? Yeah? In Portuguese, they would design a leaflet to raise awareness of chauvinism in their school. And in geography, they would look at the male and female roles around the world. So you've got a whole range of activities there that can develop, that can support what's happening in English, but across the curriculum, so that's really nice. And it's, if any opportunity we have to work with colleagues in other areas of learning is important. Okay. So the last picture book that I'm going to share with you is called The Red Tree. And weird. Okay. So this picture book here is, well, you'll have to tell me. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and listen to me, because I'm going to tell you the words first. And I'd like you, as you're closing your eyes, I'd like you to think about, or to imagine the images and pictures that come in. Try and really visualize them clearly, because afterwards I will ask you to share your visions with your partner. But you might also want to think about how you feel when you hear the words. Okay? Okay. So, I'm not going to show you the book yet, because that would give you ideas. I'll just read it. Here we go. Are you ready? Close your eyes. No cheating. Sometimes the day begins with nothing to look forward to, and things go from bad to worse. Darkness overcomes you. Nobody understands. The world is a deaf machine without sense or reason. Sometimes you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, but nothing ever happens. Then all your troubles come at once. Wonderful things are passing you by. Terrible fates are inevitable. Sometimes you don't know what you're supposed to do, or who you're meant to be, or where you are. And the day seems to end the way it began. But suddenly, there it is, in front of you, bright and vivid, quietly waiting, just as you imagined it would be. Okay. If you'd like to just turn to the person sitting next to you and share what you saw. Meant to get you first to think and then to share, and I got you to share straight away. But were the images similar? Sort of. And what kinds of words would you use to describe your images and your feelings? Black, dark, barren, grey, rainy, lonely, okay.
Gloomy.
Okay, great. So you get these words from your students, and yes, a bank of adjectives or describing words. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the story now. This is The Red Tree by Sean Tan, and it's been made into a play. Sean Tan is an multiple award-winning Australian picture book creator who has written some incredible, created, not just written, created some incredible picture books. And if you are interested in picture books, especially for older learners, then Sean Tan is your man. So, as you listen and watch, think about what you were thinking and what you were actually being shown. Okay. I'm going to be showing the whole picture book here because it is important to show the whole picture book when you share picture books with children, with learners. You might think, oh, but the story hasn't started yet, but the visual images are really important. So this is dedicated to Inari, who I think is Sean Tan's Finnish wife. Sometimes the day begins with nothing to look forward to, and things go from bad to worse. Darkness overcomes you. Nobody understands. The world is a death machine. Without sense or reason. Sometimes you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, but nothing ever happens. Then all your troubles come at once. Wonderful things are passing you by. Terrible fates are inevitable. Sometimes you just don't know what you're supposed to do. Or who you are meant to be. Or where you are. And the day seems to end the way it began. But suddenly, there it is, right in front of you, bright and vivid, quietly waiting. Just as you imagined it would be. Okay. Have a little chat with your neighbour about anything related to what you've just seen. Okay. Were any of your words or feelings present in that, what you saw? Yes. Yes? Yeah. Sean Tan writes this about the book. Can you all read it? Can you read it at the back? Yeah? Okay? So, in fact, Shantan writes quite a lot about his own work, and if you go to his website, it's a magical place to be. So do have a look if you're interested. So what age group would you use this picture book with? 16 plus, yeah. 16 plus, absolutely. 16 plus, it is. Yeah. And the feedback we've had is that it doesn't suit every teacher, it doesn't suit every student, but nothing ever does. But there are some students that really enjoy the challenge that this picture book affords for talking about often themselves and their feelings. Yeah. So what you would possibly need to take into consideration is the way you would scaffold this talk in the classroom with your learners. So we talk about book talk and the Tell Me approach by Aidan Chambers. So these are the kinds of questions that you might ask them. Was there anything you liked about this book that you disliked, that puzzled you? That's a good one, because once the puzzles start coming out, that's exactly what a picture book is great for, is deciphering the puzzles, because they are, a good picture book is a puzzle. Did you notice any patterns or connections? Often it's patterns to do with your own personal experience. You might also want to look carefully at the illustrations in relation to certain things like symbolism. So what is it that was used in the illustrations how were objects used as symbols? I don't know if you can remember any. The big fish, for example, yes. The colour red, yeah, lovely. So you could talk about that with your students. The scale, again, the big fish or the big bell jar, yeah. Music and sound, what kind of music would you put to the illustrations there, to the images? Or one particular, and that's a really nice homework activity where they can go away, think about it and come back and present their ideas. And then, responding to, you've seen it as a whole, but maybe look at each individual illustration and respond to that individually. So there's a lot of space for interpretation and spontaneous, meaningful language use in a book like this. So more questions. These are what Aidan Chamber calls general questions. So what caught your attention? Did anything bore, interest, or surprise you? Was there anything that you thought was strange? And in this particular picture book, there are lots of strange things. Have you read or seen anything like this before? How is it different or the same? That's making connections. That's a really important part of developing literacy and literature learning. Were you surprised by anything that your friends said about the book? Because this is an opportunity for discussion, open discussion, which the teacher will not be in control of. You won't know what the children are going to say about this picture book. And that can be a frightening place for teachers. But it's a very important place for the students to be, because there is no agenda. They are talking about something which they feel in relation to the book. Okay. And then particular questions you might want to ask them, these are general questions for all literature, not just this particular picture book. But how long do you think it took the story to happen? Well, is it actually a story? Whose story is it? Which character, in this case, there was one character that we saw. But where did the story happen and when did it happen? So these are interesting questions that you can also think about using to get your learners to talk about this picture book. And then, of course, you've got all the lovely language which comes out. And then we're often concerned that we're not using enough language or we're not giving the children this kind of input. But if you're talking about your 16 and 17-year-olds, they should be able to use this language, and if they can't, this is an opportunity for them to practice it. Okay, so we need to be taking all of that into consideration. Okay. Now, in Portugal, a group of teachers suggested doing the following with this particular picture book. So and again, this was with grade 9 in Portugal are 15, 16-year-olds. So they gave students red leaf shapes, and they asked them to write positive emotion words on the red tree. And they created this positive feeling red tree in the classroom. They listed positive and negative feelings, and they discussed these, when they had them, why they had them, and they rewrote some of the text for particular pages in the picture book. And they didn't actually do this, but they thought they could also get the learners to illustrate each line differently if they wanted to. So that's another nice thing to do, and you could do that cross-curricular with the art teacher as well. They also suggested writing a poem with the children. I don't have an example to show you, but this was the skeleton of the poem, and the learners had to just so it comes from the picture book, but the learners had to fill in the bits that were missing with their own ideas. And again, this can be created into a book. Maybe with the art teacher it could be illustrated. So again, it could be another cross-curricular activity. But a lot is coming from a book like this, and you're looking at maybe 3 or 4 weeks' work there. Yeah. So, I've told you about picture books at the simple end of the picture book dynamic, but I've shown you examples of picture books at the complex end of the picture word dynamic, where the pictures and the words do not show and tell the same thing, where the pictures and words encourage participation by the learner. They actually develop a more active participant in the classroom, because those learners are having to look and think about what the words and the pictures are showing and telling. And that's a much healthier classroom, and one I would encourage you to pursue a little bit. But one thing I haven't mentioned, or maybe I did at the beginning, was the aspect of authenticity. These books are completely original. They are not made for language learning. And you're bringing in an authentic text into the classroom. So that brings with it so much more. It brings with it a rich language. I hope that you've seen that rich language there on the screen. It also brings incredible visual illustrations and quality by extremely talented illustrators. So, the definition I like to share with people is by Barbara Bader. So, a picture book, if you want a definition of what a picture book is, this is my favourite definition. A picture book is text, illustrations, total design. I showed you in the last one where you have to show the whole of the picture book, because at the beginning it began grey, and at the end, as you noticed, it began red. And if you don't show those pages, part of the visual narrative is actually missing. Yeah? It's an item of manufacture, it's a commercial product. It's a social, cultural, historic document. And foremost, it's an experience for the reader or the beholder. A beholder is a child who can't read words yet, but can read illustrations. And I think we often forget that we have to read illustrations. It's a skill which, as adults, we sometimes unlearn, which is a great pity. So as an art form, a picture book hinges on the interdependence of the pictures and the words, so the way they come together to create this number 3 meaning. On the simultaneous display of the facing pages. So, you've got, most picture books will have a double spread. Where you need to hold it open for them to see both sides. And on the drama of the turning of the page. So, a picture book is not a simple thing. It's a complex object, and we need to take it really seriously. So, have a little think then about this presentation, 2 or 3 minutes. I'd like you to make notes so you take them away. Something that you didn't know. Something that you were reminded of. Something that you would like to try out. Something that you would like to know more about. 2 or 3 minutes. passionate more about, then you can come and ask me. You can also look at the handout and follow some of the links, but take some of the names of the books that I've shown you, and hopefully you can discover some more things. So, picture books stimulate the imagination. They make our students think, if we've chosen them correctly. They contribute to developing positive attitudes towards language learning, literature. Picture books are literature, and the world around us. Picture books provide authentic, appropriate learning affordances, resulting in authentic, creative language use for language learners of all ages, not just for babies. Okay, thank you very much.